Do you want more? More time, more balance, more love, more sex, more money, more real, and less bullshit? This is the Women Wanting More podcast with Dr. Karen Osborne. Real life, real stories, plus real tips to get you more of what you want.
So there's a question, sister, that you may ask yourself at times, which may have different ways of coming out, different ways of being expressed, but it basically all comes down to this, which is, how did I get here? Like, how did I get here? The person that wakes up and realizes that they're 80 pounds overweight, and they go, how did I get here? How did I get to this? The person that wakes up and looks over the person next to them, sleeping in bed, and goes, this is not working anymore. What happened to us? How did we get here? How did I get here? And it's I think, a very natural thing to start to question it and say, wait a second, this is not what I wanted. This is not in the plan. This is not something I'm really I'm okay with, but yet I'm here. And so how did I get here? And to think also that if we figure out how of it, that we will somehow fix it, that we will somehow change it, that we will somehow, maybe be okay with it. But the thing is, you could take the example of, again, let's say being 80 pounds overweight and say, how did I get to here? And you could be like, well, let me take a look. Let me go back in the memory banks of all the really shitty food choices that I made. Let me go back in the memory banks and think of all the times that I used food to stuff down my feelings. Let me go back and think of all the times that I said, I don't have time for the gym, my kids need me, I'm too busy, I'm too tired, and I've not cared for myself, right? It's not rocket science. We know what happens if we are overweight. It is not rocket science. I know the diet and the weight loss industry would like you to believe that it is. But it's really not. And if you've been struggling with weight, listen, this is no disrespect. Your struggle, your path is your path, and it's the way that it's supposed to be, and that's okay. It doesn't take away from it. And I have to almost say that because, this might trigger some of you, but this isn't meant to be a question. But this is not to be a conversation about weight loss. It's, again, just of how did I get to here? Some of you too will wake up and you're in a job or in a business that you loathe. And you said to yourself, well, I'm only going to do this for a year, 3 years, 5 years, and then I'm going to get out. And here it is, 10 years later, 15 years later, 20 years later. Go ahead, sir. And you go, how did I get to here? I get it. I feel you. So what do you do with that, right? What do you do with that? Well, I think the first thing you have to really do is to accept your role in it. That's the hardest shit, right? That's the hardest shit. It's kind of like when I was in practice as a chiropractor for 14, 15 years. And we would have people that would say, well, it's what's happening with my health is because, it kind of runs in the family. This kind of stuff happens with my mom. It happened with my dad, with my sister, with my grandmother, and it just kind of runs in the family. And when it comes down to it, any kind of state in the body, did you know this? Here's a quick little fact bomb for you that's very, very important to know, okay? Genes. Go take a look at any real research that shows this. James Chestnut's a good one to go to. Genes play at best 5 to 10% of the the results behind the current state of our health. Okay, 5 to 10% at most. At most, says the research of epigenetics. What matters more? The 90-95%, the choices we make every single day. And that's hard though, right? Because what that means is when I had patients that would come in and say, well, you know what, this is just the way it's always been. This is the way I was raised, and we didn't move a lot in our family, and so this is why I have diabetes, and I was just raised to eat a certain way, and kind of like it's not my fault. And it's like, wait a second, but the thing is that it is. You are where you are because of your choices. And that's heavy. And some don't want to accept that. They go, no, it's my genes. See, the finger points outwards. Not back at me. No, it's my genes. It's not my fault. This is the way it is. After you have children, when you become a certain age, if you have the genes in my family, this is how it rolls out. It takes a lot of fucking courage, a lot of responsibility to say, you know what? Oh God, that's on me. That's on me. And so if you were asking yourself the question of how did I get to here, the first piece of this, sister, moving through it, is to go, what is the role that I played in this? What is the role that I played in this? That's a harder thing to do, isn't it? And just understand, it's not blaming yourself, okay? It's not doing like, oh, I'm such an idiot. Why did I do that? Oh, I shouldn't have said those things. Oh, I always do this. I always fuck it up. No, it's not this, sister. It's not about beating yourself up. It's about like really stepping outside of you, if you will, and being like, okay, you know what? Let me just kind of be curious and inquisitive here and just be like, okay, so let me see. So I kept that conversation going. So I allowed that to happen, right? Someone may have treated me or treated you a certain way, but man, what piece of that am I responsible for? And that's hard. That's so hard. Because we live in a society that really wants to put blame on everybody. Whoever is in political office, whatever country that you live in. Right? There's some of the really horrific, very real shit that's happening in our world. A husband, children. Like we want to point the finger there, right? We don't want to take a look at our role. But here's the piece of this, right? If you can do that, if you're willing to say, hey, you know what? This happened. It sucks. I'm not going to lie. It sucks. This person did these things to me / for me. Said these things to me. It hurt. These are the feelings that came as a result of these experiences, these words, this relationship, this situation. But yet, let me look past that and see, what was my role in this? Because here's the beautiful piece that most don't understand, is that if you never allow yourself to be open to ask yourself the question of what role did I play in this, you will understand that so much of the powerlessness, the lack of control, the chaos that you feel, when you like latch on and say, hey, you know what? Here's the piece that I played in this whole situation. It allows you to make a different decision later. Do you get that? It means that it doesn't matter if someone else does the exact same shit to you. Because there's something that you got from that experience. You saw what your role is, and you can make a different decision. You can make a different decision if you choose. If you choose. And you no longer are subject to the external things that happen around you, or what other people say or do or don't do or say around you, to you, for you. But you realize that there's some power in this experience for you that you will bring to the next one. That if there was a role that you played in this whole experience, that the only common denominator that's going to be the same in the next experience is you. Maybe it's the same person, but it's you. It's you. And you are the only one that you can control. And I'm going to even have to consider that there's a big piece of that you can't control a lot of shit. But you can control how you see things. you can decide how you choose to show up in the next experience. And so the feelings of powerlessness that you have and the world has done me wrong is the biggest fucking story that you should burn today. Because you are able, if again, you accept the fact of the role that you played in this, the next time it can be different. And I've had a big lesson in that recently for me, a big fucking lesson. That I can very easily still go to the place of hurt and frustration and how could that have happened and why did this person do this to me and what was the whole purpose and and just go on and spin, right? That would be okay. And I'm probably still going to go there at times, and that's okay. But yet, I've chosen to see my role in it, which is I allowed this to go on. Nobody put a gun in my fucking head. Nobody's put a gun to your head. For most of situations we're going to be talking about. Why did this happen to me? Really, the question that I'm going to encourage you, sister, to ask yourself instead is this. Is what role did I play in this? Be honest, tell the truth. It's just between you and you. Maybe your journal, maybe your good friend. But what is the role that I played in this? It is a step that you can begin to take that I'm telling you, sister, will begin to set you free. It'll begin to set you free. So here's your more tip for today. Where are you right now showing up in an experience? And in order for you to really move through it, that it's going to really require you to ask yourself that question, which is, what role did I play in this? And you're going to open up your journal and you're going to just state what it was. No stories about it. Okay, no stories about so this person did this thing, or they said they were going to do this and they dropped the ball, or someone said these words and it hurt me, or whatever that it is, right? Or maybe it's entirely about you. It's you know what? I said I was going to, this summer I was going to start running, and here it is. It's August and I haven't run, 100 meters. I've not run at all. And you might be running the stories of, well, you know what? It's just been so busy and the kids, and I've had family come over, and then it's been raining and blah, 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 right? But whatever that situation is, just state it just the facts, ma'am. Just the facts. What is the situation? What happened? And then to write this underneath the fact that happened. The role that I played in this is, and start writing. I talked about this in a recent podcast episode of what happens when you take what's inside your mind and you put it on paper where you can actually see it. It's a completely different experience than letting that shit spin around in your head. It's like the conversation that you want to keep having with somebody about something to clear something that you never have, and you just keep spinning it. And it keeps triggering you. And it never gets out. This is the gift you give to yourself, sister. This is a way for you to actually get that out. So don't take this exercise, this journaling exercise, lightly. It can be incredibly powerful to set yourself free. For you to take some ownership and responsibility and to see the role that you played in it. With love to yourself, not with hate. Not with I'm an idiot. But just okay, here's my role. And what am I going to take from that, and how can I choose differently next time? So, sister, finishing up, if you do not already subscribe to the Women Wanting More newsletter, I want you to have her right now to drkarenosborn.com/action guide. I will get you hooked up on that today. I'm going to send you 3 very, very exciting video trainings, transformative video trainings, which will help you remember who you are, how to drop stories and create new ones. So that's over at drkarenosborn.com/action guide. Enter in your email, and I will get you hooked up on that today. So I will talk to the next episode, sister. A life of more. It's just one step away from you beginning to own your life. Every single day I love and appreciate you.
To get the show notes of each Women Wanting More episode, including the How to Get More tip, subscribe to the newsletter at drkarenosburn.com/newsletter.